Hi friends, I am Sushant Deshpande. I welcome all of you in the YouTube channel of Ashok Vidyalaya and Junior College Science. Today we are taking the session for IT and the chapter is e-commerce and e-governance. This particular chapter will be divided into 6 sessions. First session is with the concepts of e-commerce. We are going to cover different types, advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce. Once we know what is e-commerce, in this session we are going to cover the e-commerce trade cycle and our normal trade cycle. In the next session, we are going to see the types of e-commerce. There are different types of e-commerce which we are going to cover. In the third session, we are going to cover the different modes of payments. In fourth session, we are going to see different forms of e-commerce and e-governance. And lastly, we are going to cover the electronic data interchange and security measures. Right, friends? So are you ready with me? So let's start with today's first session about e-commerce. So friends, what is e-commerce? If you see the e-commerce, e-commerce stands for electronic commerce. As all of you know that when the commerce brings with the form of electronic, it is called as e-commerce. As name indicates, it is a combination of electronic form and commerce. When we do any trading, traditional trading, instead of that traditional trading, if that trading is done by using some electronic form, then it is called as e-commerce. When the traditional commerce is done in electronic form, that is using internet, then it is called as e-commerce, right? Moving ahead, then what is e-commerce? We have seen here that when the commerce goes to on the electronic form, then it is e-commerce. So let's see what is commerce first. All of you know that we always do two processes in our life. One is buying and selling of goods and services. For example, when we go to any stationery and if you say, I want to buy a pen, then what you are doing, you are buying a pen and the shopkeeper is selling a pen. This particular pen is nothing but goods. Or if you say, what is a service? Service means if suppose you go to a tuition or a class, then that teacher gives you a guidance, counseling about the maths or science. This is called as a service. So buying and selling of goods or service is called as a commerce. So when we say a commerce, in commerce, the two things will come into picture. One is buying and second is selling. Now what we buy, what we buy or sell two things. One is we buy something that is product or service from the others, or we sell product or service to the others. This particular exchange of goods and services in the form of buying and selling process is called as commerce. Right, friends? So this is very normal. We always go and buy something. When we buy something, it means that someone will sell something. When we buy, someone must sell. This is called as a commerce. This particular process of buying and selling of goods, when it gets done with the help of internet, with the help of e-commerce or with the help of electronic media, then the same process is termed as e-commerce. Right, guys? So what is e-commerce? Let's now briefly again define what is e-commerce. So e-commerce can be broadly defined as the process of buying and selling of goods and services. We have discussed what do you mean by goods? Any tangible aspect is called as goods. Suppose pen, paper, stationery, books. This is the goods. And services means if you go to any counseling teacher and if teacher explains you and teacher guides you, then it is called as a process. If you go to any doctor and if doctor checks what happened to you, then it is called as a service. If you go to any advocate, means they are giving their services to you. So these goods or services, the process of buying and selling of goods and services with using electronic format or a media such as internet is called as e-commerce. So simple. So whatever the commerce which we are doing in a traditional way, that is whatever the buying and selling process which we are doing in a traditional way, if with that particular process happens with the help of electronic format or electronic media such as internet, then it is called as e-commerce. So simple, guys. Let's move. It is also referred as paperless exchange of business information using EDI. We are going to see in next session what is EDI, that is electronic data exchange. Then email and electronic fund transfer. So as we are using the electronic format or the media, whatever the traditional process has the processes or phases remains same. Only what changes is the electronic, the medium gets changed. The medium from the physical gets converted into a electronic one. Right, guys? So I hope that the concept is very clear to you. Let's move ahead with the traditional trade cycle and e-commerce trade cycle. Suppose that if I ask you that what you do if you want to purchase something or if you want to buy something, this is a very traditional, very common way of thinking or the process when we want to buy something. For example, suppose if you want to buy a cricket kit, what you will do? Will you go directly to the shop and will you purchase it? Think of it. Obviously not. What you will do? You will first, if it is decided that you want to purchase or to have a cricket kit, first of all and very immediate step you will take is a search. What you do? You search. You search what are different companies are there for the product of say cricket bat. Then you compare what are the different products are there. Then what you do? You compare with their commercials, you compare with their price, you compare with their quality, and you negotiate it. Negotiate means once the chart is ready with you, you come up with these are the qualities which I must have, and for that I can ready to pay some 2 rupees more. So that particular negotiation you will do. Once it is fixed with your mind, obviously the next step in traditional, remember guys, friends, we are talking about the traditional trade cycle. What is trade? Buying and selling. So when you want to go with the sale or when you want to take something, when you want to buy something, the first is a pre-sale phase. In pre-sale phase, there is a search or negotiation, right? Okay. Second is once it is fixed, your search is done. You are now comparison is ready with you. What you do? It's a execution time. The second trade cycles phase is execution time. That execution phase consists of two parts. One is delivery and second is order. So first comes order and delivery. In traditional cycle, what you do? You go to a shop, you check it physically. Whatever the things that you have seen, whatever the things that you have done as a search, you go to a shop and you make the physical verification and you check it physically. Once that is done, then you order it. You give order. That order, you can give it to a shopkeeper. That is when you finalize it, you will ask to a shopkeeper, yes, let's pack it. It means that order is confirmed. Once the order is confirmed, then in traditional phase, first the phase comes as a settlement. Because here the shopkeeper will create a bill. Once the bill is generated, that is in invoice is generated, you make the payment. Once the payment is done, then shopkeeper will pack the goods and it will deliver to you. This is the phase how you do the trading or how you do purchase as a traditional way. Once this is done, we will always ask that is there any support after sales? That is when we purchase a cricket bat, if something happens, then to whom I should come? Who will give the repair or the replacement? That particular phase is a after sales phase. So friends, if you see that e-commerce and the traditional trade cycle is same, only there is a change which is of the media. In trade cycle, traditional trade cycle also, we do all these phases. That is pre-sales, execution, settlement, and after sales. The pre-sales comes with the search and negotiation. Execution phase comes with order and delivery. Settlement phase comes with invoice and payment. And after sales is a warranty or a support which will be given by the manufacturer. Now see here, if you see here, this is what the cycle of online purchase. This is a traditional and same is the phases for the online purchase. Let's see and compare with the traditional cycle. The traditional cycle starts with search and negotiation. Here also you are a customer and your cycle starts with search and negotiation. What you do here now, as the media gets changed, instead of going to the shop, you will go to a online store. You will go to a website. You will go to the internet and you will search different websites for a particular manufacturer. There you will do the search. Once search is done, then you see the product what you want and the offers. The e-commerce, if you say, then the all different manufacturers will put offers on their websites. That is a negotiation. So you do the negotiation and you see what is the best offer suitable for you. That along with the bat, cricket bat, someone is offering about say gloves free. Someone is offering a combo pack. Say suppose along with the cricket bat you will get suppose the helmet free, or if you take both there will be 20% off. This is what the negotiation that will be done. Along with the search you will do on this online store, online on the website you will go and you will search, is there any offer is going on, the sale is going on, the discount is going on. Once that is done in the third step, that is a product and offer, then obviously you book the order. So once your order, that is you move the different items in your basket, e-basket. Once you do that e-basket, then the delivery or the order needs to be confirmed. That is, what are the different items you are confirming? First of all, you can go with say cricket bat I want, gloves I want, helmet I want, everything I want. So you will make it into the add to the chart. Once it is added to the chart, then you will get a bill, that the estimation, that is this will be your invoice. Do you want to confirm? What you will do, you will now confirm the order. Once the order is confirmed, then you have to make the payment. Now again same, in the traditional cycle you will pay on cash. Now as the media comes into the picture as the electronic, there are different ways with which the payment can be done, that we are going to see. Once the payment is done, the invoice has been already created. Once the payment is done as per the invoice, the settlement is completed. The next phase is of invoice and payment. Once that payment and invoice is completed, then on the online cycle, the expedition starts. That is, the confirmation will go to the warehouse of a particular company, because here there is no physical presence of any person. Once the payment is done, then the supply chain gets activated and the message or the notification will go to that particular warehouse, and that warehouse will dispatch your order and you will get the message that your order has been dispatched and your order will be delivered in 2 days, 1 day, whatever as per the availability of your area. and then after 2 days you will receive a delivery. So guys, if you see, friends, if you see the cycle, trade cycle, traditional trade cycle and the e-commerce trade cycle is exactly same, only there is a difference of media, and that media is nothing but the internet, that is electronic media. Moving ahead, guys, now let's revise. We have already discussed. Let's revise. The trade cycle starts with the pre-sales. Pre-sales has two phases. One is search and negotiation. So what is a search? Customer searches for required product and services on a website. Now, instead of a shop, going to a shop, it has been replaced with the website. This is where a difference of media, electronic media comes into the picture. The second is the negotiation. When you say customer do the negotiation, right? If you go to a shop, what do? You ask the shopkeeper that is there any discount or not. What is the price is 100 rupees or 1000 bucks or 1000 rupees. Will you say that okay, give me the bat, I will give you 1000 rupees? No. Obviously what you will ask, is there any discount or not. Now the same phase of this negotiation will be carried out with the offers that has been placed on the website by a supplier. There are different suppliers, then you can go with different supplier comparison and you can come up with the best negotiation, that is the best offer which you have, and then you agree with terms and conditions. So this is the same phase cycle or a pre-sales cycle and the same phase of search and negotiation of our traditional cycle, trade cycle, which will do and perform in the e-commerce. Right, friends? Moving ahead, next phase or comes is the execution. We have already discussed with this that customer, after the negotiation is completed, after your finalization of from where you are going to buy your product, what is the offer you are selecting. Once you confirm that particular offer, you book your order. Means what? You confirm your items which you have already entered into, inserted into your e-basket. Once that is done, then the e-commerce site websites will give you the confirmation that confirm whether you want to put all these items into the chart, basket chart, or you want to remove something. That is what the confirmation. Once confirmation is done in e-commerce, in traditional thing, you will go with the delivery, or you will go with the invoice in shopkeeper or in the traditional cycle. Same thing is the here also in e-commerce. Once the order is confirmed, you will go with the payment first. Once the payment is done, then the delivery gets initiated, because here there is no physical person available to take the cash. Or in other words, there can be the option now which is available in the e-commerce is cash on delivery. In that case, what will happen? Once your order is fixed, then and you have selected, suppose, the mode of payment as cash on delivery, then what will happen? The order will be confirmed. Once the order is confirmed, the delivery starts. The delivery will be a supplier dispatches the product or render the services to the customer, and customer receives the product. Once the product is received, then you do the settlement. That settlement is nothing but the customer or the person who comes to you for the delivery will show you the invoice, will show you the delivery challan. You accept the delivery challan, you accept the product, whatever you have ordered, you checked it that whatever I have ordered is correct or not, the same thing which I have received or not, you confirm it, and you take the invoice and you pay on cash. That is the payment. So invoice and payment are the phases of the settlement part. Once the settlement is done, now the sales and warranty. If there is a warranty applicable, then after sales, that is when you purchase the product, it means that the sales is completed. Someone has sold you very perfectly as per your requirement. And then if you start using, when you start using this product, if some problem occurs, then the service will be given. There are two types. One is warranty and one is after sales. When you say a warranty, it means that the manufacturer warrants you that if any defect happens while using this our product, we are here with you and don't worry about this. We will replace that particular product. If you see the laptops of Dell's, guys, Dell company is so confident, first of all, that they are saying that our laptop is so with quality check that we don't require the service centers. But if something happens rarely, we will replace that particular piece or the laptop within one working day without any charge, without any cost, or with a very minimum cost. This is called as a warranty. And what is after sales? The after sales is nothing but you will get the support once you lock the complaint, and once the complaint is locked, the customer care will come to you for your help and will extend the maintenance service with some cost which will be very negligible. This is what the sales service and after sales service phase is. So now we have discussed a lot with the traditional and the e-commerce trade cycle. Let's see what are the different areas with which we can compare the traditional and e-commerce trade cycle. If you see the interaction in traditional, the interaction is personal interaction, because we go to a shop, the shopkeeper or the owner is available, the salesman is available, we do the interaction personally, we discuss with him, we touch the say product, we see the look and feel of the product. That is what a personal interaction is. But in e-commerce, it's a trading activity are online. The media is into the picture via internet, and therefore it is automatic. So when we say the interaction or the mode, the difference between traditional and e-commerce is that traditional is personal interaction, and in e-commerce it is not a personal information. Moving ahead, if you go with and compare with the criteria of business hours, the shopkeeper or the shops cannot be open 24 by 7. It will be with limited business hours, like 10:30 in the morning till 8:30 in the evening. But in e-commerce, the website is available for 24 by 7. It's a virtual shop which you can access just by typing www.dell.com, so that the Dell shop is available virtually 24 by 7. So this is a great advantage of e-commerce. Customer interaction is face to face, but here it's screen to face. Why screen to face? Because we are there, but no one is there from the sales point of view. It is whatever is there that is presented on a screen on a website. So interaction is screen to face. When we say add our product into a chart or into a basket, e-basket, what we are doing the customer interaction but with the screen and not with the face to face. The advantage is geographical location. If you go with this criteria and if you try to compare with traditional and e-commerce, the geographical location is a local. Suppose you are a shopkeeper and you have a product and you have, say, a shop of sari. What is the scope? The scope is who are the customers which will come to your shop? Only the local customers will come to your shop. But with the globalization, with the e-commerce, this particular limitation has extended. Now your product will be available 24 by 7. At the same time, your product will be globally available. It's not like that if suppose your shop is in Pune, then only your customers will be now Pune. The reach has enhanced. Your website can be seen globally. It can be from a customer can access your site from USA, customer can access your site from Mumbai, customer can access your site from Australia and can order and you can deliver. This is very big advantage of e-commerce and entering the business, bringing the business from traditional to the e-commerce way. What are the mode of payments? Previously, it was only cash. When you go to the shopkeeper, you will exchange the money against the product, that is a cash. Nowadays, it is check or a credit card. But if you see e-commerce, there are a lot of options available because of the media of electronic media, that is bank transfer is available. You can transfer the money directly from your account to the merchant's account. Credit card is available, debit card is available, e-wallet, mobile banking. All these are the modes of payments that we are going to see in detail. Delivery time, guys, you must have understood that there is no person to person interaction, and that's why this was the advantage in tradition, that it was instant. But now for online it will take some time. Why? Because your order cannot be dispatched, your order cannot be routed unless you give the confirmation and you pay the money. So once the payment is done, then they will go with the supply chain. Their supply chain gets initiated, their warehouse gets initiated, then they will pack your delivery, they will see the availability, and they will deliver you. Therefore delivery is not instant, it will take some time. And scope, what is the scope of e-commerce, friends? Now you must have understood, is it a local or is it a global? Absolutely right. It is a global now. The scope, your business scope, has now moved from local to global. That is from tradition to e-commerce. When you move your business, the scope is now not local. It means that the customers are not only a local customers. Your product, the reach has increased, and that's why your product can be seen by global customers, and therefore the scope of e-commerce is a global online shopping. Right, guys? I hope that you have understood this thing. Let's move ahead. Let's recap what we have discussed with the advantages of e-commerce. If you see the advantages of e-commerce, global space is one of the major advantage of e-commerce. Cost saving is also a very considerable aspect of e-commerce. Anytime shopping, that is a convenience, is an advantage, and no intermediaries present. It means that when we say the global space, that we have already discussed, there is no, it's a virtual world, it's not a physical one. That's why there is no barrier of geography. At the same time, when we say that your product reaches to a global area, at the same time it will also reach to the untouched market. Because if you see from the ruler point of view, there are now the customers, there are now the people who want the products which are available in the urban area. It was untouched, but now rural as well as global, international, all the customers can see your product with the e-commerce, because it's a virtual website, virtual world of your product. You can place your product virtually, so that the reach is increased. So the advantage is global space. Cost saving, obviously it will save the cost. How? For example, suppose if you want to buy, say, take another example, if you want to purchase for you a set of, say, say video game, then what you will do? Will you go and will you purchase? Obviously not. What you will do, guys? You will go to your parents, then parent will say, okay, we will go on this Saturday. Then on this Saturday, along with your parents, along with your, say, sisters, along with your brother, all of you will go to the market. Then will you do only the purchase? Obviously not. What you will do, you will go to one shop, then another shop, then third shop, then you will get tired, then you will eat something, then you will go by travel by rickshaw or by car, so that petrol will be consumed. A lot of accessory expenses will be there along with purchasing of one product. But now what will happen, guys? With e-commerce, everyone will be at home, you will be also at home, you will be accessing these products from your laptop. There is no need to go anywhere, there is no need to give the consume the money for the eating. There is no necessary for consume the money for or expense for the traveling. And that's why it is, and at the same time the delivery will come at home. Therefore no need to worry about it. So it's a very cost saving in a cost saving trade cycle, and that's why nowadays it's very famous and it is becoming famous as a e-commerce. I am sure that right now also, if you want something, you will not now directly rush to a shop. What you will do first, you will go with a website. You will go with the website of a particular product of a particular manufacturer, and then you will see that what are the available options are there. Can I get that product at home on my table immediately or not? This saves a very great cost, and therefore it's a cost saving as an advantage. Third one is, we have discussed, it's a anytime shopping. You can you can also search, you can also shop, you can also put your order and confirm your order also at 2 o'clock at night. There is no limitation, because as it's a virtual world, the website is working 24 by 7. There is no restriction of the website on the website that it should be on at 10:30 and close at 8 o'clock like a shop. Shop has an boundary, shop has an limitation, time limitation, but as for virtual world, there is no limitation. So it's an advantage of e-commerce that you can, as a convenience, it is a convenience also, so that you can shop anytime. And last is no intermediary. There is no intermediary. The company has put the product there. You are a buyer, company is a seller. There is no one in between. So what will happen with this, guys? Can you guess? Yes, absolutely right. What will happen? The cost will come down, because the overheads are reduced. The overheads are reduced, the commissions are reduced, the margins are reduced, and that's why that particular benefit will be passed on from the manufacturer to you, and you will get in very much discounted price the same product. If you buy it on a shop, if it is getting 1000 rupees, in 1000 rupees, the same product you will get in 80 rupees. Why? Because that 20 rupees overhead has been saved by the manufacturer, and that particular saving is passed on to you. Therefore it is also cost saving. At the same time, there is an advantage of no intermediary. Okay, guys, so these are the advantages. Next advantage is public services. Now the same e-commerce, when it is used in government, then it is called as e-governors. So there are now different services available, like e-Suvidha available, Aadhaar card available, then PAN card available, tax you can pay with a single window. All these things, all these applications which are implemented by the government for the use of citizen is a form of e-commerce, which is a e-governance, which we are going to cover in the next section. But that is also a greatest advantage of e-commerce. Now, with this e-commerce, ultimately what we have saved, we have reduced the paperwork. There is no paperwork. There is no invoice, physical invoice return. Then you will go, then you will take the invoice, then you will pay the money. Therefore, transaction cost is reduced. That I have explained you. At the same time, different modes of payments are available. So no need of carrying of the cash with the electronic format. So these are all the advantages of e-commerce. Now, as every coin has two sides, for e-commerce also there are two sides, advantages and limitations. Let's see, friends, what are the limitations of e-commerce. First is goods delivery, or you can say lack of personal touch, that we have already discussed, that you cannot touch the product, and that is the limitation. But nowadays what has been done is, the improvement has been done in this e-commerce. They have given the money back guarantee, or they have given the facility of returning of the material. So when, by looking at the site, whatever the material, whatever the product you have booked, and after getting the delivery of that particular good, if you feel that I am not satisfied, whatever is saying or whatever is assumed on the website, I am not getting the same product, then that product you can return. But it will give you some time lag. It will also give some, your product will, you have to return back, then again you have to search for a new product, like that. That is a limitation of e-commerce. But nowadays, the companies are giving you the transparency. whatever they are presenting on, the e-commerce site, the same thing is going to be delivered. So nothing to bother about it. It was not that much limitation now, but obviously yes, from the traditional point of view, this is a limitation. Goods delivery, we have just discussed this. Then setup cost. Of course, when you say that there is a virtual means there needs to be a hosting, it is there required to be a website, it required to host the website, it required hardware, software, training, then human resources. All these things are required, and which has the setup cost. But nowadays these infrastructures are becoming very, very, very less costly. And therefore, because why they are becoming less costly? Because users are now creating their mindset that we can buy online. They are going with more visits, and more hits are there. The business has started with the online, and therefore this setup is, cost is there. But for traditional also, there is a rent of shop, there will be a electricity bill, there will be the maintenance cost, all these things will be there. And so comparing to these two, yes, there is a cost, but nowadays it has been reduced. But obviously yes, this can be stated as one of the limitation. And last is very, very major limitation is security. What we are going to do now, we are doing everything electronically. There is a no physical exchange. So we are giving money electronically, we are transferring the money electronically. So there is a large chance that the identity theft will be there, the credit card theft will be there, the money, the information which you shared for the trading of your account number, credit card, CVV, all these things can be taken away, and that can be used as a theft by a hacker. So you should be very, very take a precaution, and you should see that all these information cannot be exchanged, or it can be exchanged with a very, very privately or security. Okay guys, so this is all about today's session. We have covered about with the traditional cycle as well as the e-commerce. We have seen the different advantages and disadvantages or limitations of e-commerce. We have seen also the comparison between the traditional cycle and e-commerce cycle. So thank you guys. We will join again the next session, and in next session, our second session of e-commerce, and there we are going to cover the types of e-commerce. Thank you.